Hi guys, it's ASBYT and I am lucky enough to be an Android user but also an iPhone user as well. I use both daily for different reasons and as a result I have the chance to compare them side by side. One such comparison is of course ecosystem and accessories such as smartwatches, which are now fairly ingrained in a lot of our lives. But on the two different sides of the Apple and Android coin, the situation is very different. If you want a watch for your iPhone, the most popular choice is of course the Apple Watch. But if you don't want to go down that route or you use an Android phone, then there are hundreds of watches to choose from, and up until now I've been unable to pin down the perfect phone partner. Now a couple of weeks ago I unboxed the Zepp E Circle. It also comes in square, and afterwards I popped it on my wrist and have been kind of using it ever since. So is this a viable option? Is this the watch that a lot of us Android fans have been waiting for? And also, can you use it with iPhones? Well, let's find out. Quick disclaimer, Zepp reached out to sponsor a 2-week in the life sort of video, but all views here are my own. So I'll tell you the things I love about this watch, but also some of the things that I'm not so keen on, starting with the display. Now in the 2 weeks that I've had it, I've experienced no scratches on the watch face, but by design there is a tiny lip around the edge where the face meets the metal rear, and this can catch dust or paint on this occasion by the looks of things. No idea how that really got there, to be honest. That being said, the 9mm thick, sleek and stylish unibody design is incredibly lightweight and comfortable to wear for long periods of time. The leather strap has also held up well, with expected minor scuffs to the adjustment hole, but no cracks or discoloration, and it still feels really nice, soft and comfortable. The crown button on the side is a little bit mushy for my personal taste, just by the nature of its design because it's flat and has minimal travel. I wish it was more a traditional watch crown shape, but this design does have its advantages, like avoiding accidental presses etc, ideal if you're going to be using it for sport. Swimming is one such example, which you can do of course with this due to its 5 ATM rating. I personally haven't been swimming with it just because of the leather strap that I've got on mine, but you can choose other straps that might be better for that. The 1.28-inch AMOLED screen is gorgeous. It's a looker, there are no two ways about it. It's sharp, colours pop, something I have noticed while out running and testing the fitness features. More on those later. I love the 3D nature of the glass as the screen rolls over the sides in this infinity fashion. It looks very premium and almost timeless. Unfortunately, the actual display technology underneath that glass on any smartwatch really isn't actually at this moment in time developed enough or advanced enough to fully remove that bezel. Because that is of course where all of the important sensors etc are housed without the use of a dreaded flat tyre, and nobody wants that. But as most of the faces and sections are dark, the Zepp E really gives that great bezel-less illusion. So one of the main health features of the Zepp E Smartwatch is Pi, or Personal Activity Intelligence as it's also known. On the watch it works by monitoring your daily exercise patterns over the course of a week and compiles them into an easy to gauge numerical number. Research has shown that when an individual constantly gains averages of 100 pi, it can potentially help reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease deaths by an average of 25%, and a reduced risk of deaths from other lifestyle-related diseases for men and women of all ages. Maintaining 100 pi consistently can also potentially increase life expectancy by up to 5 years, so I'm definitely in. You can earn points by doing activities that elevate your heart rate. The longer you maintain your heart rate in a high zone, the faster you build points. This is great for people who don't want to get bogged down in the numbers of step counts and calorie counting and heart rate monitoring. It just does it all in one, even though this watch actually does all of those features anyway, if you do indeed want to check those things. Pi takes all of your heart rate data from the day and takes into account your age, resting heart rate and gender, and gives you a score of the day. The number is accumulative over a 7-day period, and all of the data is really easy to monitor within the Zepp app, which is available on Android and iOS, so you can monitor your progress and set weekly tasks, so you don't feel like you have to do it every day. If you don't fancy it on a cold and wet Tuesday, for example, you can just take the day off and it'll still keep ticking over. Another big feature of the Zepp E Smartwatch that's being raved about at the moment on the brand new Apple Watch Series 6 is the SpO2 feature, or the ability to test your blood oxygen levels. This feature is really useful for people with heart or lung conditions, and also for those who don't but want to keep on top of potential future issues. I have an average score of around 96-97%, and as far as I know, that means I'm okay. Please note, I'm in no way an expert in this field, but as far as I'm aware, anywhere between 94% and 100% you are considered in that healthy region, and if it falls under 90%, it can potentially be dangerous over a prolonged period of time. People who also find themselves in high altitudes a lot or are very heavily involved in high intensity training, such as marathons, etc., this might also be very useful for you. In terms of performance, it does, apart from one minor thing, a pretty great job on the whole. Scrolling through the menus, checking settings, etc., it's very smooth. It's no better or worse really than any other top Android smartwatches currently available. It's obviously not as fast and smooth as some of the top flagship smartphones, for example, at the moment. I mean, imagine a 120Hz refresh rate display on a watch. Maybe we'll have to wait for that one. I do find every now and then there is a missed swipe, mainly during the few seconds after you wake the watch, but once this time has passed, I don't really have any issues with performance at all. And speaking of waking the watch, you really don't have to just to glance at the time due to the always-on display feature, which is now for me a must on smartwatches. This feature does reduce battery life, of course, which Zepp say is roughly around 7 days of normal use. With the always-on display feature on, I've been getting a little bit less than that. I would say more around the sort of 4-day mark, but still for me, I mean, anything over 2 days really, for me, is perfectly acceptable and actually really pretty good. And with the 1.5 hours to charge, again, you should have no real problems with battery. Now, one thing to note, you can't respond to notifications, you can only view them, and that will bother some people but not others, and you can select which notifications you want to receive via the Zepp app. We touched on the app features in the first video, but sleep tracking was one I wanted to fully test, and it's actually been really helpful to look and see how much sleep I'm being deprived due to my children who simply don't sleep, and also how ridiculously early they both get up. All jokes aside, it has been pretty cool watching how I fared the night before, with an overall snapshot score and details of what sort of sleep, i.e. light, deep and REM sleep, as well as the periods of awake time. And it gives you useful tips within the app of how to get a better night's sleep, something I'm sure a lot of us can actually benefit from. Using the theatre mode to dim the screen and using the watch's Do Not Disturb feature to limit notifications before bed are certainly handy tools. There are tons more health features within the app, like stress monitoring, for example, which will be made available in a future software update, and I haven't had a chance to test them all. So is this the perfect phone partner available out there right now? Well, unsurprisingly, that's a very difficult question to answer for everyone, because it depends on design preferences, operating systems, and budget. If you have an iPhone, yes, this doesn't have the full ecosystem package that the Apple Watch 6 series has, for example, but it is an alternative if you want something that looks as premium and costs less and has lots of great features of its own. And if you're on Android, it's another very, very good offering that you might want to consider. Great battery, some of the latest smart health and fitness features in a package that's very versatile and can be used on multiple situations, especially if you change the straps over from leather to metal to rubber, etc., which are all sold separately. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of the Zepp E Smartwatch. Is it something you're considering? Is there something out there that you prefer? What do you think of the price of it for what you get, etc.? Like and share if you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you're new to the channel and love everything tech, breaking tech news, unboxings, reviews. I love you and leave you. I'll see you in the next one. So let's do it. Peace out.